So hey, I think I can tell you guys just about anything at this point, but sometimes what's going on up here is not always the best stuff to tell out loud. Let's talk about that. Hey guys, so welcome back to Tell Your Story. So tonight we're going to be talking about how anxiety and overthinking truly ruined my life at one point. Let's talk about it. So when we're talking about anxiety and overthinking, I want to give you a specific definition. Google lets us know that anxiety is intense, excessive, and persistent worry about fear and everyday situations. Fast heart rates, rapid breathing, sweating, and feeling tired may occur. Now, Google also listed a couple of common causes. They listed anxiety can be normal in stressful situations, such as public speaking or taking a test. Anxiety is only an indicator of underlying disease when feelings become excessive, all-consuming, and interfere with daily living. If interfering with daily living was a part of anxiety and the definition, you could say that while I was an alcoholic, my life was daily interfered with. My entire life was upside down by the mind-altering substances that I was putting into my body. And just to be, I guess a little excessive about my life, let me tell you some of the things that were happening while I was drinking. I'd wake up every night, maybe, I'd say like 2 or 3 in the morning, and just be pounding, sweating my body. Like I was just nervous about everything. And there wasn't really any reason to be, except for maybe the bad things I had done while I was on alcohol. See, alcohol has a way of being super intense when it comes to your feelings. If you were nervous before about anything in your life, drinking alcohol has a way of doubling that anxiety. So while my heart rate was up and I was sweating like I was talking about before, I was also looking at other people like, are you judging me? Like, what are they thinking right now? What is my life getting to? Who am I going to be in trouble with next? Along with the physical problems, with the mental problems that came later, I bottled up a lot of things inside. And to be honest, what that led to was just a deeper dive into a hole that I was digging for myself. That anxiety led to a lot of things. It led to me isolating from other people. It led to me thinking that I was just, shame, like I was in shame. Shame was a big part of who I was on the inside, and I didn't want anybody else to see that. So a functioning alcoholic like me acts one way on the outside, but on the inside, I was just dying. And oh my gosh, anxiety led to some huge depression. Not only was I just nervous all the time, but I was also just severely depressed. I was angry, physically harming myself. I cut my wrist open at one point. Like, it was just a bad place. And you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't ever want to go back to that dark place again. Thank God we're not there anymore. The truth was that I just didn't know how to communicate. And anxiety led me to some really unhealthy coping mechanisms. One of those being alcohol. And a coping mechanism, meaning I'm trying to deal with the stress that I was already under, but not knowing that I was putting myself under a lot more stress by taking in a mind-altering substance. Later on, I had to learn about coping mechanisms that were healthy, how to deal with certain things in life, like judgment or, overthinking. Overthinking was a huge part of that anxiety, and alcohol just added to that in every way, shape, and form. All of that overthinking, all of that depression ended up leading to, honestly, a job loss. I changed jobs almost 3 times. Once I had found myself in sobriety, I changed my life again by moving somewhere else, going to a rehab, and becoming a whole different person. Now, I'll never say that I'm like completely different on the inside. I'm just a guy that's trying to make different decisions than he did before. While trying to get sober, what I realized was a lot of my anxiety and depression was getting in the way of my day to day. The tasks that I was trying to perform, it was really sporadic, making me do a lot of weird things. So I went to the HOTLINE.com to get a couple of options for you. If you've got, that anxiety, that sporadic heartbeat that just hits out of nowhere, the sweats that come into play. Let's talk about some things that we can do to cope with that anxiety from day to day. Focused, deep breathing. This is something I do a lot. Try breathing in for 4 counts and breathing out for 4 counts for 5 minutes total. By evening out your breath, you'll slow your heart rate, which should help calm you down. This is a lot of things that, you do in a daily practice if you're an athlete. Practicing your breathing helps control your heart rate. It helps control your mind. You're focused and in the moment. And be honest with yourself. If you've got running in thoughts and anxiety like I did, you want to be present in the moment to stay out of this guy, because that's a dangerous place to be. Identify and learn to manage your triggers. As an addict, this is something that I have to do on the daily because there are things that trigger me. I have a very addictive personality. Well, they say you can identify triggers on your own or with a therapist. Sometimes they can be obvious, like caffeine, drinking alcohol, or smoking. Other times they can be less obvious. Long-term problems such as financial or work-related situations may take some time to figure out. Is it a due date, a person, or a situation? This may take some extra support through therapy or with friends. I recommend this one because triggers are on a daily for me. With an addictive personality, with my background with alcohol, I have to kind of manage my things sporadically. Like too much caffeine is going to set me off. Even working out too much can become a health risk to you or to other people around you. The reason I recommend these specific things like practice controlling your breathing, a daily routine. These are things that I do normally on a day-to-day, and for me, they've absolutely changed my life. When you learn to control certain things about, say, stress with building healthy coping mechanisms, you learn to have just a regular life. You can deal with life on life's terms, and everything changes. The things that changed for me specifically were like family and friends. The people that are in my life now know that I'm under a much more controlled personality state when I've learned healthy coping mechanisms to help me with my day-to-day. So my family and I, we have a better relationship than we've ever had. I've learned to communicate in a healthy way with the person that I love, Corey. And the other thing that has happened is I've changed like my vocabulary about life. Instead of saying, oh, dang, I got to get up and go to work, it's I get to go to work today. I get to work with some great folks. I'm going to learn something new maybe. That change in vocabulary, that's a healthy coping mechanism. And that's how life changes when you learn to let go of some things and understand that you can't be in control of everything, and anxiety sort of dissipates in the distance. Listening to all that, I hope you understand that what we're trying to do is not control our anxiety and our stress. What we're trying to do is mitigate the negative effects by understanding our anxiety. A lot of times we like to listen to respond, or we react to things. We're not trying to react here. We're trying to learn how to cope with healthily our anxiety and our stress. Thereby, we learn to live a better life. While we're learning about ourselves and we become more self-actualized by learning how to breathe and do healthy things in our life, we learn a different kind of vocabulary and a different way of living that is about progression, not perfection. So try those things on your own. Try to, take a couple of breaths every now and again. Try to do something specific every morning, maybe just one task that you can complete, and hopefully that'll take away some of that stress that you have on your day-to-day. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.